My bones may creak, but don't mistake me for fragile. Last Christmas, my own brother stood up from the dinner table, grabbed two swollen black trash bags, and hurled them at my feet like I was the town dump. One hit my leg, splattering mud across my jeans. The room froze for a breath. Then came the smirks, the muffled laughs, the fake coughs hiding amusement. "You're not family anymore," he said, voice sharp as broken glass. "You and that kid don't belong here." My chest burned, but no tears came. I'd already shed enough in this house. Behind me, my granddaughter's small fingers dug into my coat. Nobody even looked at her like she mattered. My mother rose slowly, eyes sliding past me to land on the child. "She doesn't belong either," she said, each word clipped. "She's just a reminder of your mistakes." My sister leaned back, arms folded, lips curling. "Seriously, Joe? Sit down, eat, and leave before you ruin the holiday," someone muttered. "Be grateful we even let you in." Utensils clinked again, like my humiliation was just a warm-up act before dessert. Then my sister tilted her chin toward my granddaughter. "Watch closely, kid. That's what failure looks like." Something inside me shifted. Not a scream, not a sob, but a lock turning. I picked up my child's backpack, ignored the trash at my feet, and met my brother's stare. "Thanks," I said, voice steady. "I'll remember this." He smirked, thinking he'd won. But he hadn't noticed the hesitation in my mother's eyes, the flicker of doubt in my sister's laugh. Cruelty wasn't unanimous. It was a habit, and habits can be broken. I took my granddaughter's hand, turned my back, and walked out of that house like stepping off a stage where the play was over. No slammed door, no shouting, just silence. And silence, I knew, would haunt them longer than any scene. Outside, the cold air cut my face. My granddaughter squeezed my hand. "Are we in trouble?" she whispered. "No," I said, though my voice trembled. "They are." We reached my beat-up car, the one they mocked in the driveway. I buckled her in with shaking fingers, sat behind the wheel, heart pounding like a drum in an empty hall. For a moment, I almost did what I'd always done, swallow it. Excuse them, pretend family meant safety. But then I caught her reflection in the rearview mirror. Wide-eyed, waiting. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't just about leaving. It was about teaching her what strength really looks like. And soon, they were going to learn it too. They thought tossing trash bags would break me. But the real mess was about to land in their laps. The cold air cut into my skin. I sat behind the wheel. My heart pounded like a wild hammer in an empty workshop. From the back seat came the question I'd been dodging my whole life. "Grandma, do they hate us?" The word sliced deeper than any insult. Eyes swallowed, throat tight. "No, baby. They don't hate you. They don't even know you. And they don't get to decide who we are." I pulled the car out of the driveway. In the mirror, the house shrank, white lights, wreaths, the perfect postcard hiding a rotten core. "Where are we going?" she whispered. "To a hotel tonight," I said. My voice shook, but my grip was steady. "And then we'll build something they can never touch." My phone buzzed. A message from Claire. "How's Christmas at the farm?" "Surviving." Minutes later, I parked outside a cheap roadside motel. Neon vacancy sign blinking like a warning. Lily dozed in the back seat while Claire's voice filled my ear. I told her everything, the trash bags, the laughter, the way my mother looked at my child like she was disposable. "Joe," Claire said slowly, "this isn't family. This is abuse dressed up with tinsel." I wanted to argue, to excuse them. But the words stuck, because deep down I knew she was right. "You recorded it?" she asked. "Yes," I whispered. "Good," she said firmly. Then, softer, more personal, "I've seen you survive worse. Joe, now it's time to fight back." Her words lit a fire inside me. For the first time, I wasn't just hurt. I was done. The next morning, Lily sat cross-legged on the motel bed, eating dry cereal from a paper cup. I sat at the desk, laptop open, staring at the recording. The easy option would have been to delete it, bury it like every other painful memory. That's what they counted on, that I'd stay quiet. Too scared, too loyal, too desperate for crumbs of love. But then I thought about Lily's question. Do they hate us? And I realized silence was no longer an option. I made copies of the video, backed it up in 3 places. Then I opened a browser and searched for Carter's Family Christmas Tree Farm. Pages of glowing reviews, smiling faces, wholesome branding. My stomach twisted. They'd turned their cruelty into a business. And in the back of my mind, I remembered the flicker of hesitation in my mother's eyes. The way my sister's laugh wasn't as confident as it sounded. Cracks were already showing. Claire's voice echoed in my head. If they built their brand on family, then you hit them where it hurts. Reputation and money. Proof is power. And I was ready to use it. The motel room smelled of bleach and stale air. Lily sat cross-legged on the bed, cereal crunching between her teeth, cartoons flickering on the TV. I sat at the desk, laptop open, staring at the frozen frame of my brother with those black bags. His smirk carved itself into me like a scar I refused to carry. The easy option whispered, delete the video, bury it, pretend last night was just another wound. That's what they counted on. That's what I'd always done. But then I remembered Lily's voice in the car. Do they hate us? My stomach twisted. Sharing this meant exposing my humiliation too. But silence was no longer an option. I copied the video, backed it up 3 times, cloud, external drive, email. Then I opened a browser and typed, Carter Family Christmas Tree Farm. Pages of glowing reviews filled the screen. Local news segments. Smiling photos. My mother is arranging garland. My sister is handing out cider. And my brother is grinning for the camera? Perfect. So, perfected almost made me laugh. They'd turned cruelty into a business. And businesses can break. Claire called again. Did you sleep? She asked. Barely, I admitted. I've been reading about them like they're strangers. It's like my childhood got rewritten into their marketing copy. Good, she said. You need distance to see the whole picture. What's their weakest point? I thought about it. My brother's ego. My mother's obsession with appearances. My sister's social media presence. But underneath all that, the farm, the land, the brand, money and reputation. They care more about those than about any actual person, I said. Then that's where you hit them, Claire replied. Her voice sharpened. I watched you survive them, Joe. Now make sure Lily never has to. Her words lit a fire inside me. For the first time, I wasn't just hurt. I was done. I opened a folder I hadn't touched in years. Old legal documents. Emails from the lawyer who'd handled my father's estate. The will had said the property would be divided among the 3 of us. But when I got pregnant with Lily and refused to marry just to fix my image, my mother had convinced me to sign papers temporarily. Papers that reassigned control to my brother, with her as co-signer. My name is reduced to a footnote. I stared at the scanned documents, anger throbbing behind my eyes. They hadn't just humiliated me. They'd stolen my inheritance. Claire's voice cut through my rage. Joe, you were 24. They knew exactly what they were doing. I sent her screenshots. She didn't hesitate. So you hit back in two ways, legally and socially. Lawyer up. And when the time is right, let people see what their perfect Christmas really looks like. I drafted an email to a local attorney specializing in family and property law. Subject line: urgent possible coercion and fraud in inheritance documents. I attached the files. My hand shook, but my resolve didn't. Then I opened a blank social media account under a name that wasn't ours. I uploaded a still frame from the video, just the trash bags at my feet. No faces yet. I typed, "Ever been thrown out by the people meant to love you?" Same. Wait till you hear what family said when I showed up with my kid. I didn't hit the post. Not yet. Timing mattered. This wasn't going to be a scream. It was going to be dismantled, piece by piece. The way they dismantled my confidence for years. They thought stealing my share made me powerless. But I was about to show them what real ownership looks like. And this time, they wouldn't escape it. Part 4. Summer heat baked the town I swore I'd never return to. Yet here I was, 2 streets from the square, signing a lease for a run-down storefront. The landlord glanced at Lily, who was coloring at a corner table. "Are you sure you want this? It needs a lot of work." "So do we," I said. "We'll manage." On paper, it was just an office. In my head, it wasn't an office at all. It was a battlefield disguised as 4 walls. Mark, my attorney, had already warned me. "You have a case, but it will take time. They will fight dirty. Are you prepared for that?" I was more prepared than for another Christmas, pretending everything was fine. Mark dug into the property documents and tax records. Jake had leveraged the farm for hayrides, cocoa stands, Instagram photo zones. All of it cost money. All of it depended on the illusion of a perfect family business. Meanwhile, my anonymous account grew. I posted audio clips layered over blurred Christmas lights. The cruel words, "You're not family anymore," and "She's just a mistake," echoed against glowing images of holiday cheer. The contrast made them colder, sharper. Comments poured in. "This happened to me too. My mom said the same thing about my kids. Please tell us what you did." Every time I wanted to back down, I opened that app. Strangers didn't question my pain. They nodded and said, "Same." Jake thrived online at the same time. He launched a channel for the farm, bragging about legacy and family values. My mother smiled in videos. My sister hosted giveaways. I watched from my tiny office, laptop balanced on boxes. Lily sat nearby, drawing a picture of a happy family stick figures, holding hands under a Christmas tree. My chest tightened. Her innocence was a reminder of why I couldn't stop. Claire's voice came through one night on video chat. "You know what this is? A PR campaign. They're building a shield. But you know PR too, Joe? You work in marketing. They're not the only ones who can control a story." She paused, eyes fierce. "I've seen you rebuild before, Joe. This time, you're not alone." Her words steadied me. So I started planning phase 2. My office became a studio. I bought a secondhand microphone, a cheap ring light, and recorded my first long-form story under that anonymous handle. I told the trash bag story in full. No names, no location, but every word true. I ended it with, "Next Christmas, I'm not going back as the woman they threw out. I'm going back as the woman who owns the receipts." The video exploded. Views, comments, duets. People shared their own worst holiday memories. For the first time, I felt power in numbers. Mark called 2 weeks later. "We found something interesting," he said. "Your brother refinanced the property last year. He took on a big loan to expand, using the farm as collateral. He's barely keeping up with payments. If revenue drops during the holiday season, they could default. My pulse quickened, meaning the bank might be open to selling that debt, he replied. And if someone bought that note, that person would have leverage over the farm. I stared at the frozen frame of Jake with those trash bags. For the first time, the idea didn't scare me. It thrilled me. They thought humiliation was the end of my story. But I was about to buy the next chapter, and this time, I'd own the ending. Autumn crept in, leaves curling at the edges, air turning crisp. My folder of documents grew thicker, my resolve sharper. The bank had been willing to talk. Jake's loan was heavy, the risk high. I showed up with a clean credit record, steady income, and a co-signer who believed in me more than my own family ever had, Claire. We didn't buy the farm outright. We bought the note. The debt. The lease Jake didn't know now carried my name. Mark reminded me, this doesn't make you the owner yet. But if they miss payments, you'll have options. Renegotiate terms. Set conditions. Decide what forgiveness looks like. I smiled, bitter but steady. I know exactly what forgiveness looks like. An apology my granddaughter can hear. At night, Lily sat at the kitchen table. Crayons scattered, drawing houses with big windows and smiling stick figures. She looked up. "Grandma, are we going back to the Christmas farm this year?" My pen froze. "Do you want to?" She hesitated, pencil tapping. "Last time was bad, but that's still my grandma and my uncle and my aunt, right?" I swallowed. "They're related to us. But family is about how people treat you, not just blood. So if they say sorry, can they be family again?" She asked. "Maybe," I said. "But this time, we decide what's okay, not them." Her eyes searched mine. "Will they say sorry? If they want to keep their precious Christmas?" I muttered. "We'll see." 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, an email landed in my inbox. "Carter Christmas Farm Season Launch Event. Join us for our biggest year yet." I snorted. Biggest year yet. They had no idea. I bought 2 tickets. On the morning of the event, I dressed Lily in her warmest coat and knitted hat. My hands shook as I zipped my own jacket. My phone buzzed. Mark's voice was calm. "Everything's in place. You're on the note. They're technically in good standing. But you have every right to visit the property, and every right to request a meeting as the holder of their debt. And if they throw trash bags at me again?" I asked dryly. "Then we move up the timeline," he said. "But remember, your goal isn't to destroy the land. It's to reset the balance." Claire texted next. "You got this. Remember, you're not going as the broken daughter. You're going as the woman who owns the leverage. Walk like it." We drove toward the farm. Cars lined the road, music drifting, kids laughing with hot chocolate. It looked exactly like their videos. Perfect, magical, staged. All my worst memories gift-wrapped in glitter and lies. At the entrance, Lily squeezed my hand tight. Her eyes darted between the lights and the crowd, fear mixing with curiosity. Jake stood in his branded jacket, greeting guests. His smile froze when he saw me. "What the hell are you doing here?" he hissed, venom dripping. My mother hovered behind him, face draining of color. My sister lowered her phone mid-Instagram story. For a second, nobody moved. I smiled. Not the shaky, desperate smile I used to wear. A calm, deliberate one. I hadn't come back as a guest. I'd come back as the creditor. And this time, they owed me everything. Jake stepped closer. His jaw locked. Venom dripped from every syllable. "What the hell are you doing here?" I leaned in, steady. "Funny," I said. "Because your farm is very welcome in my portfolio." Confusion flickered across his face. My mother rushed forward, panic flashing in her eyes. Joe, don't ruin this day, please. I pulled a folded letter from my bag and handed it to Jake. He scanned it. The color drained from his face. My mother snatched it, reading with trembling hands. "This is impossible," she stammered. "Why would you do this?" "Because last year you threw trash at me and called my granddaughter a mistake," I said evenly. "And then you built this empire on my back while cutting me out. If I was the trash, then I became the one who owned the landfill." My sister, standing near the cocoa stand, hissed. "You can't just show up and threaten us in front of customers. We'll call security." "I'm not threatening you," I replied. "I'm explaining reality. You want your season to go smoothly. Then you're going to do one simple thing first." My mother's lips pressed into a thin line. "And what's that?" "You're going to stand in front of my granddaughter. Look her in the eyes and apologize for what you said last Christmas. All of you, clearly, without excuses. And I'm going to record it." The air went still. Even the music from the speakers seemed distant. Lily squeezed my hand, her eyes wide. She remembered. She always remembered. Jake's jaw clenched harder. "You wouldn't dare destroy Dad's legacy. You'd burn Lily's joy with it." "I won't have to," I said. "All I have to do is adjust your payment terms. Make a few calls, maybe let your sponsors know that the wholesome family they're backing screamed. You're not family at a child. I won't have to hurt you. Your own behavior will do that." My sister stepped forward, voice low, desperate. "We can talk about this privately. You're making a scene." "Last year, you made a scene," I reminded her. "You used my humiliation as entertainment. This time, I'm giving you privacy because I'm only asking for a private apology. But if you say no," I raised my phone slightly, "then I go public." Recognition flickered in her eyes. She'd seen the anonymous account. She just hadn't realized the woman behind it was me. My mother pulled herself up, trying to reclaim authority. "You're being cruel," she whispered. "You're weaponizing your granddaughter." "You already did that," I said quietly, "when you called her a mistake to her face. I'm just making sure that if she ever watches that recording one day, she'll also have this one, the day you chose to be better, or didn't." I turned to Lily. "Sweetheart, do you remember what Grandma and Uncle said last year?" She nodded slowly. "They said we didn't belong, and that I was bad." Her voice cracked, but she didn't look away. She wanted them to hear it. My heart split, but I kept my voice steady. "Today, they're going to fix that. Or we're going to leave and never come back. And they're going to lose this place because of their own choices. They thought last year's cruelty would fade. But this year, I was demanding a reckoning. And I wasn't leaving without it. Not this time." My mother's lips trembled. For a moment, I saw the cracks in her armor. She cared more about appearances than truth. But now the mask was slipping. "Fine," she choked out. "Fine, we'll talk to her." We moved off to the side near a row of trees where the music was quieter. I hit record on my phone, holding it low but steady. My mother knelt awkwardly, as if the ground might bite her. She looked at Lily. "I'm sorry," she said. The words stiff, foreign. "What I said last year was wrong. You are not a mistake. You are my granddaughter. You belong here." Jake shifted from foot to foot, his voice rough. "Yeah, I shouldn't have said you're not family. That was messed up. I was angry at your grandma and I took it out on you. I'm sorry." My sister folded her arms, then sighed. "I shouldn't have mocked you either. I thought I was being funny. It wasn't. I'm sorry." Lily's eyes flicked between them, then back to me. "Do you mean it?" she asked softly. Her voice cracked, but she didn't look away. She wanted them to hear it. My mother hesitated, then nodded. "Yes," she said. For once, I believed she wanted to mean it. I stopped the recording and slipped the phone into my pocket. Good start, I said. But an apology is step one, not the finish line. Jake scowled. You're insane. You'll drag Dad's legacy into the fire with you. Yes, I said bluntly. You don't get to treat me like trash for years and act like a single sorry resets the clock. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to sign a legal agreement, acknowledging that I was coerced into signing away control of my share of the farm. You're going to restore me as an equal partner with voting rights. You're going to commit a percentage of this season's profits to a fund in Lily's name for her future. And if you ever speak about her the way you did last year again, I will go public with everything names, faces, recordings, documents, and I won't stop until every sponsor, customer, and news station knows exactly who they're dealing with. Mark had already drafted the documents. All they had to do was sign. My mother scanned the clauses. Consequences spelled out in black and white. You're taking everything, she whispered. No, I answered. I'm taking back what was mine. The rest. That's the bill for all those years you thought I'd never stand up. They signed. Pride shouts, but fear bleeds through every shaky signature. We met in the farm's cramped office, away from customers and carols. Lily sipped cocoa outside with Claire, who had driven in for backup. Her small hands wrapped around the cup, clinging to warmth I couldn't give her last year. But this year, she had my strength. My mother's hand shook as she put pen to paper. Jake's jaw clenched so tight, I could hear his teeth grind. My sister avoided my eyes completely. There, my mother said sharply, sliding the documents back to Mark. Is that enough blood for you? Mark, is that enough blood for you? This isn't blood, I said. It's ink. And if you'd treated me and my granddaughter with basic respect, we wouldn't be here. This was only the beginning of their debt, and I intended to collect every cent. Starting now. Part 8. The ink was barely dry when the tension shifted. My mother sat stiff, eyes darting to the window, as if the crowd could sense the fracture. Jake shoved the papers back across the desk, jaw grinding like stone. My sister kept her gaze fixed on the floor, her phone clutched but useless. I leaned back, calm. Congratulations, I said. You've just signed the first honest deal of your lives. Jake spat the words. You're insane. You'll regret torching Dad's legacy. You'll regret turning Lily against us. Legacy, I echoed. Legacy isn't built on lies. It's built on truth. And today, Lily got more truth than she's ever had from you. Outside, I caught sight of her through the glass. Her small hands wrapped around the cocoa cup, clinging to warmth I couldn't give her last year. But this year, she had my strength. She looked up at Claire, who bent low to listen. And I saw Lily smile, fragile, cautious, but real. My mother's voice broke the silence. What happens now? Now, I said. You run your farm. You smile for your customers. You sell your cider and your trees. But every decision you make, every dollar you earn, runs through me. And every time you look at Lily, you'll remember the cost of cruelty. Jake slammed his fist against the desk. You'll destroy us all. No, I said, steady. I'm saving her. And if that means burning down the illusion you built, then so be it. Mark cleared his throat, reminding them of the legal weight behind my words. You've agreed to terms. If you break them, she has the right to act, and she will. My sister finally spoke, voice trembling. What do you want from us, Joe? Really? Is this revenge? I shook my head. No. Revenge is loud. This is quieter. This is accountability. This is making sure Lily never hears the word mistake again. The room fell silent. Even Jake had no comeback. I stood, gathering the papers. We're done here. As I opened the door, Lily ran to me, Coco still in her hands. Grandma, she whispered, did they say sorry? Yes, I said, kneeling to meet her eyes. They did, and they signed something to prove it. Her eyes widened. So they can't be mean again. Her voice carried both hope and fear, a child's fragile balance. They can try, I said softly. But now we have the power to stop them. She nodded, gripping my hand. For the first time, her trust settled into me like steel forged in fire. We walked back toward the crowd. Music played, lights twinkled, families laughed. The farm looked the same as it always had, perfect, magical, staged. But beneath the glitter, the foundation had shifted. And this time, I was the one holding the ground steady. The real battle was only beginning. And this time, I wasn't fighting alone. The crowd outside buzzed with holiday cheer, oblivious to the storm inside. My mother sat stiff, eyes darting to the window, as if the crowd could sense the fracture. Jake shoved the papers back across the desk, jaw grinding like stone. My sister kept her phone lowered, for once without a filter to hide behind. I walked out steady, Lily's hand in mine. Claire followed close, her presence a quiet shield. Grandma, Lily whispered, tugging at my sleeve. Does this mean they'll be nice now? Her voice carried both hope and fear, a child's fragile balance. I bent low. It means they promised. And now we hold them to it. She nodded, gripping tighter. Her trust settled into me like a blade tempered in flame. Jake caught up, his voice low and venomous. You'll poison this farm. You'll ruin Dad's legacy and Lily's childhood in one blow. I stopped, turned, and met his glare. No, Jake. You poisoned it the moment you decided cruelty was tradition. I'm just making sure Lily never pays for your choices. My mother tried to soften the moment, her voice brittle. Joe, please. Don't make this worse. We can move forward quietly. Quietly. I repeated. You wanted quiet last year too. Quiet while you threw trash at me. Quiet while you told a child she didn't belong. Quiet is what kept me powerless. That silence is over. The words hung heavy. Even Claire's eyes glistened, proud but pained. We stepped back into the crowd. Music swelled, lights shimmered, children laughed. The farm looked untouched, but beneath the glitter, the fracture was spreading. I felt Lily's small hand squeeze mine again. Grandma, she said softly, are we safe now? Her eyes searched mine. Desperate for certainty, I refused to let slip. I crouched to meet her gaze. Yes, I said, because now they owe us, and we'll never let them forget it. Jake's muttering faded behind us, swallowed by carols and chatter. My mother stayed frozen, watching me walk away with Lily. For once, she understood the cost of her words. My sister turned her phone back on, but her hands shook too much to film. For the first time, I wasn't the one carrying shame. And I intended to make sure it stayed that way. I was about to bind them to every consequence. And this time, the chains were mine to hold. Winter settled heavy over the town. Frost clung to windows. Breath turned to smoke in the air. The Carter Christmas farm glittered brighter than ever. Lights strung high. Music echoing. Families pouring in. On the surface, nothing had changed. But beneath it, everything had. Customers smiled. The farm's heartbeat now pulsed to my rhythm. I walked through the crowd with Lily at my side. Claire flanked us, steady as ever. Jake avoided me, his smile forced, his laugh hollow. My sister kept her phone angled away, careful not to catch me in the frame. My mother hovered near the cider stand, her eyes darting whenever Lily passed. Lily tugged my sleeve. Grandma, do they remember what they promised? Her eyes searched mine. Desperate for certainty, I refused to let slip. "Yes," I said. "And if they forget, I'll remind them." She nodded. Her trust settled into me like light breaking through frost. The season rolled on. Every transaction, every sponsor, every deal I had leverage. They signed the papers, but what they really signed was a chain. And this time, the chains were mine to hold. I didn't need revenge. I needed permanence. Proof that Lily would never again be called a mistake. Proof that cruelty had consequences. So I built something new. In the storefront I'd leased, I opened a small space, warm lights, open tables, shelves lined with books and crafts. A place for families who'd been fractured, for kids who'd been told they didn't belong. We called it the Belonging Room. Lily painted the sign herself, bright colors spilling across the wood. Her laughter spilled brighter than the colors, filling the room with something no contract could buy. Jake passed by one evening, his face tight. "You'll tear this family apart. You'll destroy everything Dad built." I met his glare. "No, Jake. I'll destroy the lie. The truth will stand whether you like it or not." My mother came once, standing awkwardly at the doorway of the belonging room. She didn't step inside, but she watched Lily laugh with other children, her face unreadable. For the first time, she looked small. The farm glittered. The town cheered. But the Carter family's empire was no longer theirs alone. It was mine, and Lily's, and no one could take it back again. They thought throwing me out ended the story, but I had written the last chapter, and this time it was ours.